Hey all, it's Steve from GuitarNiche here. I'm working on a brand new Les Paul Studio Lefty, and I wanted to take a moment to illustrate a pretty severe angle from the bridge to the tailpiece. Moreover, there's a pretty fair amount of touching on the back edge of this Nashville style bridge. Now, is that good or bad? I'm not a fan, really. I don't see it as being like a huge problem, but what it will do is, well, it just doesn't look nice. But will it contribute to bridge sag? Not really, not in my opinion. I think the bridge sag is, the amount of pressure over the saddle or the bridge itself is going to be constant one way or another. You can, of course, alleviate that or adjust it to a degree by raising and lowering the tailpiece, which is it's designed to do. But depending on the angle, the pitch angle of the neck, this setup can be, acute or less acute. Now, ultimately, I will set this up so that the tailpiece is raised a little bit. I'm not a fan of top wrapping. It's just my preference. I know there's a lot of controversy around that. I think, all things considered, my points would be to maintain the integrity of the finish on the back edge of that. This has to come up. To maintain the integrity of the finish on the tailpiece itself, the tailpiece has to come up. So you have, the best of both worlds, okay? And, as I said, the tailpiece is designed to be adjustable to, influence the amount of tension over the bridge. Again, it's one of those things where it can be a little subjective. Some people will swear it's got, you gotta top wrap to keep your tone. Yes and no, I suppose. There are experiments out there, but, I still want to try to think that it's a balance of aesthetic and playability and all. So it turns out, after going through the setup process and making the, my normal course of adjustments, we got actually just a nice little bit of clearance on the back end. You see there, and it's just a few thou, but it's enough. One thing I want to point out here is that if you're measuring this kind of stuff, whatever method you want to use, only the outside strings matter, because the bridge is in an arc to follow the radius of the fretboard. The outside strings are going to be the lowest, therefore along the straight edge of the back of the bridge. Those are the only ones you really have to pay attention to. The other ones are going to be, just fine. The other thing I would mention is that we got lucky, sort of, in the sense that the intonation points were so far back. Combination of the string gauge and the tuning, I think, assisted it maybe in the right way. The low E is actually at its limit, the travel limit for that particular saddle. If you think about it mechanically, the further back that saddle goes, the more clearance you're going to get on the back edge. You got to, keep these things in mind as you're going through some tinkering processes to try to, it's not the end of the world just because one spec is out and you're in the middle of making adjustments. Go through the whole process and make sure that things are as good as they can be. And if you then wind up with a problem, then deal with it, okay? Don't just assume that, you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. Things can work out. At the end of the day, the tailpiece is off the deck, a little bit on the treble side and a little bit more on the bass side. Reasonably good shot of that. Anyway, that's about all I have to say. Anyway, it turned out just fine. So for this guitar, it'll work just peachy. And as always, read the description. Lots of great stuff, freebies there. You'll learn a lot. You'll get just a ton of information. play loud, have fun, and have a great day. Cheers. See ya.